Pastor Wilkins of Chasing Our History. You are inside of a slave breeding house. You're inside of a slave breeding house. I promise you when I tell you this, there are spirits in this place, and you can feel them real heavy. There's a heavy presence of another presence that is not me, and you can clearly feel it. Look at this. They could be as young as 13 years old to lay on this bed, and slaves would sleep with them and produce children. Overseers would sleep with them. The master himself could be sleeping with them. This is a house of horror. This is a house of horror. Everything is original. Look at the stone. Look at the children. Look how old it is. You can feel the presence of other entity in here. I've been on enough plantations to know when there's something else in these houses, and clearly something's in here. There's an unrest in here. Rape happened here. Incest happened here. Molestation happened here. Right here in this slave house. They were breeding them. A 13-year-old could literally, or 12, could literally be laying right here, producing children, up to 30 of them at one time. Look at it. You're at the Magnolia Plantation where they were breeding slaves. I'm Pastor Lucas of Chasing Our History. Be blessed.
Hey man, why does it feel like they keep building more prisons than schools? Because America profits more from cages than classrooms. See, I thought it was because the crime keeps going up. That's the story they sell. But the truth is, it's a business model that's been around since the 1800s. What do you mean? You know how they say slavery ended in 1865, right? Well, it really ended Juneteenth. Well, go ahead. Well, that's half the story. The 13th Amendment states that slavery is illegal, except if it's punishment for a crime. So they made people prisoners just to keep slavery alive? Exactly. Southern states passed black codes to criminalize everyday black life. Unemployment, loitering, walking without proof of work. So pretty much being free was a crime. Yep. And once arrested, they were leased out to the plantations, railroads, and coal mines. So the convict leasing system is pretty much slavery all over again. In a way, yes, but it was actually much worse. You see, at least during slavery, the owners had incentives to keep the slaves alive because they were their investments. But during the convict leasing system, prisoners were disposable. Companies paid the state a flat fee, so if someone died, the state would just replace them. Wow, that's crazy. They literally worked these people to death. Yeah, and in Alabama's coal mines, nearly half the prisoners would die in a single year. They were starved, beaten, chained together for 16 hours, and some of them were even children. Wow, that's insane. And states made money off of this? Oh yeah, tons of money. Convict leasing became the state's major source of revenue. Politicians, judges, sheriffs all had incentives to keep the prisons full. And the business model never ended, it just evolved. Fast forward to the 1980s, you had Reagan's war on drugs. No wonder the judge gave them life so easily in this movie. But you see, I thought the war on drugs was actually about stopping drugs though. See, that's the lie. The government claimed they were fighting the war on drugs, but they were actually smuggling in the drugs to fund a foreign war. But guess who paid the ultimate price? The black communities? Bingo. You're telling me they brought the drugs in and locked us up for it? Yep. They targeted crack cocaine in black communities with sentences 100 times worse than powder cocaine in white suburbs. So let me get this straight. We went from slavery to the convict leasing system to the war on drugs? Yep. Different century, same chains.
The Pequot people were burned alive in the middle of their sleep at night in 1637. Mass Bay Colony, Plymouth Colony, Providence Plantation, Mystic Seaport, all English colonies banded together to burn women and children while they slept in a village at night. They barricaded the exit. They did not allow anyone to leave. They wanted them to burn. They were proud that they burned. This country was proud to write. We could smell their burning, rotting flesh for over a mile away. It's written, folks. Please read it on your own. I am not making this up. Stephen King can't make this up. He was so proud, the town of Norwich, Connecticut, had a statue honoring this man up until roughly a decade ago. John Mason, the man who over 700 people, when anyone, the few people who were able to survive that Holocaust, they were rounded up. They were sold as slaves. Before they were sold, they were marched all the way from Connecticut to Mass Bay Colony, present-day Boston. They were placed on trial. They were declared to be sold as slaves. But before they sent them on that slave ship, they had to humiliate them some more. And they read a declaration that those people shall not ever, once again, even utter the word Pequot. They will no longer be able to call themselves a Pequot. I am proud to say, I'm a Mashantucket Pequot. This is the history, folks. Because that particular day, that particular incident, is when this country declared its second religious day of Thanksgiving. This is what we're celebrating, folks. And for all of you who took pictures of me with my nice little pilgrim head buddy here, I hope you get the story that goes with it, because anyone who sees this, I'm sure, thinks I'm a sick, twisted individual. This is a reminder. This is what Hallmark greeting cards and Charlie Brown cartoons should be showing when we celebrate this holiday every year, when we celebrate Columbus Day every year, because this is what it represents.
The so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. Let them see their crimes against us, both northern and southern kingdom. Part 23. Shalom Yasharala.